Hey everyone, Paul here from This End Collective, and today I'm going to go over something that's really important, which is what is good ad creative. Now, this is a conversation I have with a ton of people all the time. Opinions really vary on this, and I want to share what I have found over the last amount of time making people a lot of money in their marketing campaigns on what good creative is. And what I want to do first is run it through 4 different frames of what the goal of the creative is, because what the goal is will influence what is actually considered good. So out of the goals we have 4. We have leads, we have proof, we have authority, and we have engagement. These are the 4 outcomes that we're looking to get. So leads, we could probably say it's sales, same thing here. So with leads, the goal is to get someone to opt in to give their contact details, phone number, email, address, etc., so you can reach out and contact them about your service. If it's a product, they buy the shit. Now, proof is to actually establish that you can do what you say you do. So if you have content that talks about how good you are, but you've got nothing to actually demonstrate that, you're not actually demonstrating proof, you're just bragging, okay? Now, authority is to basically demonstrate that you're an expert in the field that you're talking about. So having authority-based content is very important from a positioning point of view long-term, and engagement is simply likes, views, impressions, etc., all those kinds of metrics. Now, all of them can be useful frames to look at. What we need to do is look at content through what the most important, what good creative is, from the most important thing for you at that particular time. And I would argue, for 99% of business owners I work with, it is leads to be the number one thing. Then proof, then authority, then engagement. In that order, and the reason for that is leads translate to sales. Sales are cool. We want more sales, okay? If most businesses could click their fingers and solve a problem, it would be get more leads and more sales. That would increase revenue and solve the vast majority of business problems. Proof basically reduces resistance in the buying process. So the more proof that you have that demonstrates your expertise, the less resistance that you come up to in the buying process, because people who have seen other people like them succeed generally believe that they're going to succeed with your product too. So we need to take advantage of that. Now, authority positions you as someone who knows what you're talking about. The more authority you have, the more trust you have, okay? So when you have more trust with your audience, do you think they're going to be easier or harder to sell to? It's going to be easier because they trust you. They will come to you rather than the other way around. Now, engagement is useful. Like people say, oh, likes and that stuff don't matter. The more engagement you have, generally the better, because you have more of an opportunity to push people towards it. But most people focus on engagement in their creative and their content as the key metric rather than these things here. So if we're focusing on this and we're not getting that, there's a reason for it. So good creative needs to be a combination of all of the 5 factors I'm going to show you to get the best outcome. So let's go through that. The number one thing that is the best creative is what the audience responds to. Now, I like to say this one first because people, business owners, have in their own heads an idea of what good creative is. It's what they like. Now, what you like and what the audience likes can be 2 totally different things. What you like and what the audience responds to can be 2 totally different things again. So we need to make sure that we're actually giving the audience what they respond to and we focus on that. This is especially important when we're looking at leads, because if you think it's good creative and you're going to post that and spend money on it beyond anything else and it doesn't lead to leads, guess what? It's not good creative. It's not achieving the outcome that you want. Whether you think it's good or not doesn't matter. This is where the really simple, ugly text posts do really well, and so many business owners actually hate them because they look ugly and they think it's going to be bad for their brand, okay? The thing that's bad for your brand is not getting leads and making sales, okay? That's the worst thing for your brand because it doesn't matter what brand you have if it doesn't translate over to tangible income. So what your audience responds to is great, but I'm looking for 5 people or attention X, looking for 5 people to do this or 10 people, whatever it is. They have great ads because they drive leads really effectively. So that's the first thing that we need to remember. What does your audience respond to? What do they like? And what outcome does it lead to? Now the next one is, does it speak to the avatar directly? Here's the thing, if it doesn't speak to the avatar directly, it's not going to translate to leads, or it's not going to translate to the leads that you want. So it needs to actually call out with an instruction on who to do it, which is attention. I'm looking for 5 people to do X in Y amount of time. Here's how I do it, buy. That always works really well because it speaks to the avatar, it speaks to who they are, who the audience is, what they want, what time frame they want to work in, and what outcome. That's going to lead to leads. Now, these 2 here, will they get as much engagement? No, there's no chance that they're going to get as much engagement. But what do you want? Do you want engagement or do you want leads? My content is very wordy. okay? And it generally doesn't lead to a lot of engagement. Of course, it's very, very wordy, but it leads to a lot of leads. So I'm gonna stick with that because it gives me what I need out of it, okay? So what is the goal needs to always be at the forefront of your mind for the business. If an ad's ugly, but yet if their audience is responding to it, and it's speaking to the avatar directly, keep doing it, keep investing money in it. You need to take emotion out of it, and you need to replace it entirely with logic and mathematics when you're actually coming up with good creative for getting leads, okay? Now, from here, 3, engaging enough to stop the scroll. That is actually really, really good, because if it stops the scroll, it means it gets your audience's attention. Now, this can have lots of components to that, but the main things are, does the audience respond to it and does it speak to the avatar directly? If I see an ad for attention housewives who want X, Y, and do it in this amount of time, I'm not going to click on it. It's not for me. It's simply not. I'm not that audience, and that's okay. So I'm not going to stop the scroll. If I see something like, here's how to build a funnel that's going to do X, Y, Z, I'm like, I'm going to click on that. Now, it can get my attention by a number of different ways. Now, this is where we have different opinions on ads and different opinions on creative. If it's doing something shocking, for example, it may get my attention, but it doesn't lead to any intention, where I'm actually trying to put my name down to get more details. Okay, so there's a difference in our content that stops the scroll, that gets attention, but also creates an intention. And you want to get it to do both. There's some really good ads that do this, that can do both, but a lot of the time, just getting attention doesn't do it. What that will do is get engagement, okay, which is the lowest on the rung. But if you can do attention and intention, you'll then get leads and engagement, and that's kind of like a really, really awesome place to be. Now, the next one is positions you as the authority. Most of the businesses I work with, coaches, consultants, people who are basically selling information services or service-based businesses who are doing something for a customer. They're basically doing a task that the customer doesn't want to do and charging them money for it, taking that stress away from them and delivering their goal outcome in a short amount of time in exchange for money. So for that, we want to position ourselves as the best person that does that. If we basically position ourselves as authority, it gives us authority and it leads to proof. And then that generally makes the buying process easier for leads because it's going to reduce resistance. So if you get any information or any value out of this of what is good creative, if you're looking for a marketing agency, you'll probably more than likely look towards me because I've already given you some value there. I've given you something that's positioned myself as authority, so you may look to join, the 40 to 50 clients that we currently have with this end to get on top of that. Okay? You may not, and that's totally fine, but what happens is I'm not looking for this video to convert anyone into our program. This video is entirely to position us as an authority and to speak to the avatar directly. That's what we're looking to do. Okay? We're also looking at this too because we're trying to solve a problem. And then finally, here's the last one, being funny. Now, I think if you can do funny and do all these at once, you're probably going to win. It's really hard. That's the challenge. So creating content is a skill. Creating content is an art, and there's a ton of stuff that goes into it. Now, a lot of people will just be funny for the sake of being funny, and that will lead to high levels of engagement. The easiest way to generate a ton of engagement in your stuff is to use a lot of memes in your material. Now, you can use memes all day long, but if you're putting up memes on your business page and you're doing funny stuff all the time, how is that positioning you as authority? How is it speaking to the avatar directly? And is it what your audience responds to in a way that translates directly to the leads? Okay? Well, a lot of people will do is they'll put up a funny post, and what will happen is it will generate a ton of engagement. And they'll go, yay, that's awesome, let's just keep on doing more of that. But they'll forget what's actually driving the goal that they want, which are probably leads, proof, authority, and engagement in that particular order. So with good creative, we really need to actually first stop and think of what is the point of what a creative that we're trying to create? What is the desired outcome that we want to achieve? And if our desired outcome is to get engagement, go nuts on memes, go nuts on being funny, run into a wall, fall over, and have paint fall on your head. All that stuff is great. You will get a ton of engagement from that one. Funny, you can also put sexy in there as well. Stuff that basically appeals to people's carnal nature will always get more engagement, okay? But will it necessarily translate to authority, proof, or leads? Generally, the answer is no. So, to summarize what good content is or good creative is, you need to first define what outcome you're looking to do. Now, not every bit of content should lead to leads immediately. That is short-term thinking. We want to start thinking a little bit more long-term. Think about business marketing efforts in terms of years rather than days, okay? With our content, we want to generate leads, we want to build proof, we want to build ourselves up as authority in the space, and we also want to get engagement, probably in that order of priority for the vast majority of businesses. Okay? From here, we need to identify by testing what the audience responds to and do more of that based on what it translates to. If it's translating to engagement but no leads, it means it's probably pretty, it's pretty attractive, but it's not doing the outcome that you're after. Okay? If it speaks to the avatar directly, it's probably going to get leads and it may get some authority or proof in there. It may get some engagement as well, but it's probably not going to be a ton. If it's engaging enough to stop the scroll, it will get long form engagement, but what will happen there is it needs to do the other two things to translate to leads. Positioning yourself as authority will basically lead to proof of authority, which will reduce the amount of objections that you come up to in the buying journey. And then finally, funny/sexy content is going to be good for engagement, which you can use every now and then. But if you're doing a teaching-based business, a coaching-based business, information products, or delivering a service where you deliver something for a client that they don't want to do, funny is probably not going to translate to what you really want for your business. And that's what I consider good creative.